Freakiness is a part of life. Original Barman along with the two bad, wicked youths of rap. Not a mercy, whoa.
What's the business? Talk paper when I'm riding by. They know it's drizzle, he the truth off the east side. I know who ain't got my money because they ducking high. I grind for me and mines, I got the green light. I got to get it how I live it, that means front line. I got two zips, I got that soft, I got that hard white. I got that green.
Connor says, I don't know, that wasn't really a satisfying explanation. Don't you think philosophy becomes more necessary for settling disputes as an institutional scales? No, I don't actually, because you do realize that all of European societies based on Aristotle and Plato, right? They're assuming these guys are right. That's the issue. Their foundation is not the scripture. Their foundation is Aristotle and Plato. So the reason empiricists exist in the West is because they assume Aristotle is correct. The reason romanticists and Renaissance type people exist in the West is because they assume Plato's correct. Now, they might not do it consciously. You know, Rousseau and other people, sorry, not Rousseau, but people who came from Rousseau, they may not have realized, hey, all these ideas come from Platonism. They didn't know that. The problem is they lived in a time where the Platonism and the Aristotelianism had so saturated the West, there was no escape from it. My issue with philosophy is people base it as the foundation of their worldview, and they don't base the foundation of their worldview on the church. And that's where you get into trouble. And that's why the East didn't have the trouble the West did. The dude, why do you think Christianity's fall in the West was growing in Africa and Asia? Well, the dude, I already answered that. It's the whole point of this entire stream. The West fall not because they disproved Christianity, because they deconstructed their soul. There was nothing left for them. They're not satisfied with it. They hate it. The reason these other places are growing is because they have not been touched by the poison of over-philosophy. So they don't have to deal with that. They just accept the religion as it is, and they don't pry too much into it. Now, an atheist could see what I just said and go, oh, you're denying knowledge. No, I'm not. But you base all knowledge on supposition. And if your supposition is that everything's wrong because we're going to base everything on Plato and Aristotle, then yeah, no matter what I say, you're not going to be convinced by Christianity. It doesn't matter. It's a problem of hardening your heart. So that's the issue. That's definitely the issue. Whereas with Africa, Asia, and other places, it has nothing to do with IQ or race. It just has to do with the fact that the culture doesn't question everything, and they don't need to deconstruct themselves. In a way, it's good that Christianity's new in some places. There's been no time for them to sit around pondering. Of course, they don't have the luxury to do what Europeans did, which was sit around in cafes pondering the meaning of life, and thus they're able to simply live the faith, which is exactly what the Bible tells you to do. Skywalker, is there hope for Europe? There is hope, but fake online trad stuff is not going to be the hope. What they need to do is go back to actually taking religion seriously. It is not a brand. It's not just we're nationalists, so we have to be Catholic. You actually need to take it seriously. And you need to, instead of deconstructing it, deconstruct the past 200 years of garbage philosophy and science. That would be the hope for Europe, in my opinion.